Welcome back to CIA Declassified. When we think of the Cold War, we think of steel and fire, but some of the most devastating weapons were liquid, invisible, and organic. While the world watched the borders of Berlin, the agency was turning the very air and soil of Southeast Asia and Central America into a laboratory. This was Project REDCAP. It wasn't just about killing soldiers, it was about agricultural sabotage and environmental modification. It was the science of making the earth itself turn against the people who lived on it. The agency needed to know how to starve an insurgency before it even picked up a rifle. Project REDCAP involved the field testing of herbicides and fungal pathogens designed to specifically target rice and corn crops in hostile territories. The objective, this is a quote from a 1962 CIA operational summary, the objective is the total denial of local food resources to the Viet Cong through the systematic destruction of the regional caloric base, end quote. In the late 60s, the agency investigated the use of bunt fungi, which could turn entire wheat harvest into a black soot-like powder, rendering them inedible and toxic. REDCAP operatives utilized modified C-47 transport planes to drop micro-encapsulated chemical agents over the jungles of Laos and Cambodia. The project examined the psychological impact on rural populations when they witnessed their ancestral lands dying overnight without any visible cause. A quote from Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, architect of MKUltra and chemical programs. We must develop the capability to manipulate the biological environment as effectively as we manipulate the political one, end quote. The declassification reveals that REDCAP scientists worked on soil sterilants that could prevent any growth in a specific area for up to a decade. Agency technicians developed color-changing dyes added to the chemicals so they could map the drift of the poison from high-altitude spy planes. By 1965, the project expanded to entomological warfare, testing the viability of releasing lab-bred locusts to decimate entire enemy grain stores. A quote from a declassified 1967 Defense Department report on yellow rain. Reports of a yellow, oily substance falling from the sky are consistent with the dispersal patterns of our latest experimental mycotoxins. End quote. REDCAP teams often posed as agricultural aid workers to gain access to remote villages and collect soil samples after a secret spray mission. The declassified files confirm that the agency tested cloud seeding techniques to create artificial rain that would wash the chemical agents deeper into the local water table. Operational breakthroughs included the creation of self-degrading toxins that would vanish within 48 hours, leaving no evidence for international inspectors. The project utilized indicator plants grown in secret greenhouses at Fort Detrick to perfect the exact dosage needed for tropical climates. Reports from 1970 show the CIA investigated pollen vectors where bees would unintentionally carry chemical sterilants from a target zone back to local farms. The declassified release documents state that the use of Agent Blue, an arsenic-based herbicide used specifically to destroy rice paddies because it dehydrates the plant to death. Research was conducted into genetic vulnerability, looking for specific strains of crops unique to North Vietnam that had no natural resistance to Western pathogens. Project REDCAP provided the groundwork for what would eventually be used in Plan Cambodia to extract cocoa plantations using aerial spraying, to eradicate, cocoa plantations using aerial spraying. Agency records indicate a side effect study where they tracked the long-term health of their own pilots who were accidentally exposed to the experimental mist. The declassified files include a restoration protocol that was never used, detailing how to fix the soil if the U.S. ever wanted to occupy and farm the land they had poisoned. A quote from a field scientist dated 1969, "We aren't just killing the weeds, we are rewriting the history of the forest," end quote. Chemical analysis from the REDCAP archives show the agency developed surfactant cocktails that allowed toxins to stick to the waxy surfaces of broadleaf plants during heavy tropical monsoons. Project scientists experimented with photodegradable triggers, creating chemicals that remained inert on the ground until activated by a specific intensity of ultraviolet light from the sun. A quote from a 1964 laboratory log, "The mutation rates in the test plot grain are exceeding expectations. The third generation of wheat appears physically normal but fails to produce viable seeds, ensuring a secondary wave of famine," end quote. Declassified shipping manifests reveal that experimental fertilizers sent to Central America under REDCAP were actually pre-mixed with root rot spores to neutralize rebel-held farming valleys. Technical diagrams from 1971 show a specialized vortex sprayer designed to be mounted on helicopters, which used the downward air pressure of the rotors to shove chemical mist deep into the jungle floor. But the most disturbing part of the declassified dump isn't the chemicals we know about, it's the crop control delta logs. Hundreds of pages are blacked out. What was the agency really planting? Get ready for the theory of the hunger hackers. Speculation suggests that Project REDCAP wasn't about weapons at all, but about genetic ownership. Theorists claim the agency developed a switch gene that they secretly introduced into the global food supply. The redactions hide the global seed bank that the agency supposedly controls, a system where they can deactivate the fertility of a nation's entire harvest if they don't comply with U.S. policy. What if the agent is still there? A dark rumor suggests the soil in those Southeast Asian villages is still alive with a predatory synthetic bacteria. The speculation is that the redactions hide the deformity reports of generations yet to be born, and the black bars are there to hide the fact that the poisoned path has become a permanent part of the local DNA. Could the trees be spies? Some speculate the redactions hide Project Green Ear, an attempt to genetically engineer tropical plants to act as acoustic sensors, and the black ink mask the transcripts of conversations recorded by the jungle itself. Watch out for the cicada signal. Gossip claims the redactions prove the agency can trigger dormant swarms of insects to emerge and destroy specific regions using a high-frequency radio signal, and the black bars are the targeting zones. Is it in the bread? A wild theory suggests the redactions hide Operation Bear Basket, a plan to use crop dusting to deliver mass sterilization agents to human populations under the guise of agricultural aid, and the black ink hides the success rates. The clone crop rumor suggests the redactions hide evidence that the CIA replaced the natural vegetation of an entire island with synthetic replicas to see if they could fool a Soviet satellite, and the black bars protect the island coordinates. Is the weather a weapon? Some believe the blacked out pages detail Project Floodgate, where REDCAP agents used silver iodide to cause permanent monsoons over enemy supply lines, and the black ink mask the drowning statistics. The smart mold theory claims the redactions hide a sentient fungus that can be programmed to eat only specific colors of clothing, like army uniforms, and the black ink hides the deployment failures. Could it be the fruit? Gossip suggests the redactions hide Operation Bitter Bite, where the agency engineered bananas to contain a timed sedative, and the black bars protect the shipping manifest. Some whisper that the redactions hide the location of the REDCAP Garden, a secret facility in Langley where every poisoned plant still grows in a climate-controlled vault waiting for the next war. Could the dirt be a recording device? Some believe the redactions hide Operation Dust Memory, a way to use the magnetic properties of treated soil to record footsteps and vehicle movements, and the black ink hides the playback logs. Look out for the pollen pulse rumor. It claims the agency modified common flowers to release a psychoactive gas when they bloom, and the black bars hide the flower shop fronts used for distribution. Are the roots a network? Gossip suggests the redacted pages describe Project Tangled Web, where trees were used to relay high-speed internet signals long before fiber optics, and the black bars are the node locations. The thirst tactical theory suggests the redactions prove the agency can make certain plants drink 5 times their normal water intake to artificially drain the local wells, and the black bars hide the hydro maps. Lastly, is it a truth serum in the garden? Some speculate the redactions hide Operation Bitter Vine, where edible crops were engineered to lower the mental defenses of a village before an interrogation, and the black bars are the recipe books. Was Project REDCAP a success? Tactically, it was a devastating success. The agency achieved environmental dominance, proving they could destroy the morale and the metabolism of an entire region without firing a shot. Strategically, it was a moral and ecological nightmare. The declassified files show that the collateral damage to civilian populations and the permanent scarring of the earth created a legacy of resentment that the U.S. is still paying for today in its foreign relations. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, poisoning the jungle led to the birth of modern eco-science. For instance, precision aerial dispersal, the development of the micron nozzle, now used in high-efficiency commercial farming. Rapid soil assaying, portable kits that can detect trace contaminants originally built for spies, now used by environmental protection agencies. Mycology weaponization, the study of how spores travel in the wind, which led to better biosecurity protocols for modern labs. And vegetation analysis, using infrared photography to determine the health of crops from space, a direct ancestor of modern agricultural satellites. Project REDCAP reminds us that the most dangerous weapon isn't the one that blows up, it's the one that grows. When the agency decided to fight the forest, they realized that once you release a poison, you can never truly take it back. As the declassified files show, the path they blazed through the jungle is still burning, even if we can't see the flames. Thanks for listening. Join us next time we examine Project Ebony. The agency wanted to manage the wind of change. We'll uncover the deep cover infiltration of African independence movements. We'll look at the student fronts, the propaganda presses, and the mysterious assassination lists that shaped the map of a new world. Join us next time for the Shadow Continent. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.